Hello everyone, welcome back to Archangel RC. Now, right off the bat, every expectation I had for this radio's range has been subverted, so stick around as things really were unexpected. Before we begin though, it has come to my attention that roughly 65% of the viewers here are not subscribed. I know YouTube pushes everything to your feeds regardless, but subscribing does help the channel a lot, so make sure to do so. Even if it is too much of a bother, would be highly appreciated, and also hit the bell so you can get notified when new videos are made public. Now in this video I do test the max range of all the frequencies the UniRC 10 Pro system can muster, including an additional test with the antennas from the UniRC 7 Pro, but I will go into more detail on that in just a bit. I have to say though, these results were not what I expected. So let's begin. As some of you probably know, the SIYI UniRC 10 Pro system has three frequencies it can operate on: the sub-2 one, the 2.4 GHz one, and the 5.8 GHz one. On the Air unit, you have combined antennas for the sub-2 and 2.4 GHz frequencies and a standalone antenna for the 5.8. On the ground unit, the external antennas are the combined sub-2 and 2.4 ones, and the 5.8 GHz antennas are actually built in somewhere on the radio, most likely on the top here above the screen. With SIYI claiming they have done 45 km of range on the sub-2 mode, naturally I expected this one to perform very well, so I switched the system over to that frequency. On the ground, the image strength indicator was looking very good, kept high, so things were looking up. I had great expectations. I took off, started moving away in my chosen direction, and barely 800 meters away the video froze, with the telemetry and control going away just over 100 meters later. Well, like I said, that is not what I had expected to happen on this frequency. When the link recovered, I turned around and had another go at it. This time it was barely over 700 meters when the video started acting up, and this time it didn't even wait for the 800 meter mark before freezing up. "Perplexing, quite is that," said apparently drunken Master Yoda. What? Where did that come from? This is the frequency which SIYI used to do the longest range test on, and yet around here it can't break the 1 kilometer mark. Well, turns out the specific band within which the sub-2 frequency is located is not actually free to use around here. Apparently, China has certified this band for drone use, which is why they were able to get the range they reported. Around here, it is used for something else and will be used even more heavily in the future, though sadly not for drones. So I will not be able to make use of the sub-2 frequency band on this system, but let's hope the other two can make up for it. I landed, switched over to the 2.4 GHz frequency and took off again. This is the flight which resulted in the MT-11 zooming video, but I am not going to dilute this with other stuff. This is all about range. The 2.4 test went pretty predictably. I'd say the video was good until around the 16th kilometer. After that, it was rather intermittent and really not usable for anything useful. All connection was lost around the 17.3 kilometer mark, and by the time it was re-established, the plane was already in return to home and had turned around, although it did re-establish the link at 16.7 kilometers, which is pretty nice. I love the fact that this system regains the link very quickly after losing it. Now, I did reach 26 kilometers with the UniRC 7 Pro system. I am assuming this distance was achieved on the 2.4 GHz band, so it was perplexing why the UniRC 10, which should have the same module in there, is performing worse than that. This 16 kilometer range, however, explains all my previous flights with this system and why even then, around the 15 to 16 kilometer mark, the image strength indicator was dropping to 0. This is just the limit here apparently. I should note that the UniRC 7 test was conducted from the top of a hill, which I feel is a much better place to be compared to down low under the hills, which is where this test took place. But there was one more factor which I felt contributed to these results. The UniRC 10 antennas are combined for sub-2 and 2.4 GHz, and a combined antenna, I think, might never live up to the potential of a dedicated antenna for a a single frequency. This then led me to doing another 2.4 GHz test with the antennas from the UniRC 7 Pro, as they should be 2.4 GHz only, which means they should work better than the combined ones. This test took place from the same location, in the same direction, under the same weather conditions. The only quirk in the plan turned out to be the antenna connectors. For some unimaginable reason, the UniRC 7 and the UniRC 10's antennas had different connectors, so I had to use adapters in order to be able to mount the 7's antennas on the 10. I was hoping this will not take much out of the ability of the antennas. So again, the flight progressed rather uneventfully. Perhaps expectedly, this time around the plane passed the 17-kilometer mark without major video dropouts. The slowdown started happening at the 18th kilometer mark, video and telemetry became intermittent, and a few times it lost the link completely, which led to a return to home event, which I cancelled and turned back around. 18 kilometers just seemed too little. After turning around, the video held well at least until the 19th kilometer, and then it became intermittent again, with telemetry proving to be just a tad more resilient and persisting despite the video not working smoothly. I literally flew and navigated based on the OSD data, not the video, which was stuck for the time being. Just before the 21st kilometer, I decided to end the torture test, so I turned the plane around. Interestingly enough, turning it around bumped up the signal and the video came back smoother than ever just under the 21st kilometer. So I have a feeling I will need to play with antenna placement, but also I will obviously need to use dedicated 2.4 GHz antennas on this system as well for best results, and I do have some plans regarding that, but they will come later on as I have a good deal to do before that. Now, let's move on to the 5.8 GHz test, but before that, I would like to take just a minute of your time to talk about this video's sponsor, PCB Way. On the off chance that you haven't heard of them and don't know what they do, they provide very quick, easy and convenient PCB manufacturing, and they offer anything you can imagine, even things I didn't know existed related to PCBs, including populating PCBs and assembly, reflow, etc. All sorts of PCBs, also 3D printing and CNC milling, and a bunch of other stuff as well, at very competitive prices and high quality. The order interface is extremely detailed and easy to navigate. Most orders get evaluated and processed in 10 minutes, and smaller ones even get fulfilled and shipped out within 24 hours. I do have a few ideas on how to utilize their capabilities, but waiting to see which idea would come to fruition first. But just to give you a hint, the MFE Fighter is on track to making a comeback, and the UniRC radio systems could obviously benefit from some lightweight 2.4 GHz directional antennas. I am certain PCB Way would be more than up to the task of whatever I throw at them. Now, using the link for your first order will give the new users a $5 bonus towards their first order, and using it for repeat orders will help support this channel, and I would be very grateful for that. Plus, you will be getting an excellent service at an excellent price. Now, let's get back to the 5.8 GHz test, which was the big surprise of the day. Generally, you wouldn't expect much performance from stock omnidirectional antennas in the air and built-in antennas in the radio on the ground. That is literally the lowest of the lows you can get. That is toy level shit. Honestly, after the sub 2G test, I was fully expecting a range of perhaps 2 kilometers maybe. If I'm really lucky, 5 or 6 kilometers if the universe is on my side. Well, you can imagine my surprise when the plane whizzed past the 6 kilometers as if it was nothing, and kept going. And so the kilometers piled on. 20 came and went, I honestly couldn't believe it. Granted, the wind direction had caused me to fly in a direction different than the one used for the sub 2G and 2.4 GHz tests, but I had flown the 2.4 GHz frequency in a variety of places, in a variety of directions, and the results have always been more or less the same. 5.8 GHz, however, has been the only frequency on the UniRC 10 to reliably break over the 20 kilometer line so far, and it just kept going. Just before the 23rd kilometer, I decided to turn around due to battery considerations, though in hindsight, That is why I fly against the wind, so it would help on the way back. Video telemetry and control were all working during the turnaround, but notice how when the plane got to 90 degrees relative to me in the turn, the signal indicator jumped a good deal. I didn't think much of it at the time, but while I was being bored on the return flight, I realized why. The way I have the 5.8 GHz antennas mounted on the Hero is with the flat bit pointing sideways, not in the direction of travel. That is because I never considered them for any notable range and mounted them in the most convenient way I could, which would keep them out of the way and would not require constant mounting and unmounting. I was even considering removing them from the air unit altogether, since I had the idea the 2.4 GHz frequency is the one that works at distance and I wouldn't need them. Well, guess what? I'm seriously reconsidering that course of action. I never imagined some wonky built-in antennas could actually outperform the main frequencies on this system with the bigger antennas. Only problem is, upgrading the built-in ones would be an effort and would void the warranty since they are built in. But reorienting the ones on the plane for maximum exposure to the ground for a future range test should be a lot simpler, and I feel like that would be the next thing I might try. It feels like it should have been able to make it at least to 24 or 25 kilometers if the air antennas had been oriented properly, but actually knowing that I can get out to 23 kilometers with the antennas not in the optimal position and then have very good signal when the plane is sideways to me, for those cloud chases you see, is still mighty impressive. And I absolutely did not expect this result, though it is entirely possible that those built-in antennas do have some directionality to them. I don't see how else these results would be possible. Whatever the case may be though, the range is a fact and it is impressive, and yet there is more work to be done, so make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you stay notified of new videos. So what can I say? SIYI surprised me again. I never expected the 5.8 GHz frequency on this radio system, and I would assume on the UniRC 7 Pro, to work quite as well. Now, don't forget to visit PCB Way and give them a chance. Also, don't forget to like and comment. If you've got something to say, I'd like to hear it. A huge thank you to PCB Way for sponsoring this video, and to all my YouTube members, Patreon supporters, and anyone who has and still is supporting this channel. Happy range testing in these trying times, and I will see you soon.